Hello, my name is Jose and today we'll be talking about values and ethics. We're going to be covering what are ethics, values, and also diving in some intersections. It's important to have an understanding on how and where business and ethics meet, as well as ethics and values. So, ethics is knowing the difference between what you have a right to do and what is the right thing to do. Associate Justice Potter Stewart of the Superior Court of America made that statement, and in so doing, he made an important point. There's legal and there's ethical, and which side of the issue a company chooses to come down on can sometimes be all about their values. So now I want you to think, what are ethics? Ethics are essentially a moral philosophy. It is a guiding principle that helps us choose between right and wrong. But right and wrong are an absolute. That is, laws do not govern right and wrong. Instead, they are social constructs for what is considered good behavior that is learned from others in society and from experiences. Ethical standards tend to become defined by groups and cultures and are enduring long-held beliefs intended to guide not just individuals, but society as a whole. For instance, it may be illegal to walk past a dying man on the sidewalk and ignore his needs, but most people would consider it highly unethical. For most people, helping that man would speak on our deepest core ethics, because most societies have always dictated it to be the right to feed on the hungry and help the hurting. Ethics and moral philosophy challenge us with big picture ideas. Is it right for people to live indulgent lives and spend recklessly just because they can, when people are living on €1 a day in so many parts of the world? Legal, yes. Ethical, there's a shades of grey answer, and where one stands on the issue mostly comes down to their own values. So, what are values? Values are subjective. They're personal or organizational, not societal. And they vary tremendously from one person to another, and from one company to another. One person's values may dictate that they feel an obligation to take care of their aging parents themselves, while another feels their obligation is merely to ensure their parents have care, whether through in-home visits or via living in a care facility. Neither of these views is dictated by law, and both could be considered ethical. Each person might vehemently disagree with the beliefs of another person. These personal instincts are guided by their value system. Values are not necessarily positive. They are a reflection of a person, and the extent to which that person is moral or not defines their set of values. Usually, when one's sense of values seems to be compromised, it says that they have a lack of values or are immoral. But that lack of values is a reflection of their value system. For instance, a bank manager who insists on little to no flexibility on calculating loans has a value set that dictates he does everything in his power to make his company profitable. But if that means a family of 4 with a new baby is evicted from their home, or a woman in their 80s is left with no home, so be it. For him, being the most profitable bank manager is how he judges being his best self. Whatever your political persuasion, it comes down to your values. If you are a supporter of the left or the right, or if you're religious or an atheist, it all comes down to your values. All of these values can be ethical according to society, but the values themselves are subjective and personal. Values are essentially what you can live with yourself doing or not. It's whatever lets you respect yourself in the morning, and that is different for each person. Now we're going to be focusing on business and ethics. One could argue that the problem with business is that being ethical and being legal doesn't always overlap, as the Associate Justice said at the beginning. Paul Polman, the CEO of Unilever, has spoken of the conflict between ethics and law in the past. He said, "I believe that the financial crisis of 2008 and 2009 exposed more a lack of ethics and morality, especially by the financial sector, rather than a problem of regulation or criminality. There were, of course, regulatory lessons to be learned, but at heart there was a collective loss of our moral compass. Ethical business is a sticky wicket. There are some companies that do very well at broadcasting their values, but when it comes to actual ethics, arguably, they are falling short. Companies like Nike have made billions, for instance, for making it clear where their values are on the issue of racial equality and equal representation with male and female athletes. But does the ethical side of their business measure up? Ethics can come down to things like whether children work in their factories, or if they use sustainable products, or whether they honor equal representation in their workforce, as they do in their advertising. For many companies, their values don't necessarily always reflect the ethical nature of their actions. For example, in today's business world, sustainability has become a buzzword, bandied about by companies wanting to capitalize on trends popular with customers, like environmental responsibility, energy consciousness, carbon footprints, and recycling. The fact is, nearly 2/3 of global respondents are willing to pay more for eco-friendly products and packaging. As a result, the quest to be sustainable has companies speaking to sustainability-based values, but a lot of these claims are not regulated by industry oversight, so companies can make claims, but their definition of what is biodegradable or sustainable is often a matter of semantics. In short, values can be complicated in a public forum. When ethics and value meet, following the law is good enough for some companies, but others believe in being ethical and having strong core values that guide their every action. Having mission and value statements that truly reflect what company is and represents their ethos can go a long way towards cultivating employee dedication, strong customer loyalty, and excellent public perception. So, this is all for today's webinar. Values and ethics require a great understanding of the self in order to be able to analyze the subgroups, groups, subcultures, and cultures that surround us. Let this be the beginning of a journey on self-awareness. My name is Jose, and I hope you have enjoyed this session as much as I did. Bye!